My podcast with Tanya and Claire.
Hi everyone.
And we had a little bit of a malfunction, didn't we?
Just a little one.
Oh,
Little one.
halfway through this episode, in our first recording, my laptop decided to shit the bed.
Proper.
Yeah.
Proper.
And we lost our recording.
yeah,
so
it's all gone.
we're mourning our awesome selves.
And it was really good. Like, we were on top form. You've missed out some quality shit.
And now you start reeling and thinking, what were we talking about? What were we talking about? I'll tell you what we were talking about. We were talking about the relationship dynamics.
Yes.
Between your husband, between your friendships, between your children, your professional relationships. And to be fair, we were halfway through. We're at 15 minutes and we'd only touched on relationships. So it was probably the universe saying, come on girls, get your fucking act together. Keep it short.
It probably was. It was a kick up the arse, wasn't it? And the universe is always right.
We're obviously weren't our best selves. So,
well, we were bloody bad.
well, come on.
We won't ever know because we can't listen back to it. But in my head, best one we've ever done.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, we really wanted to talk. Why do we want? Oh, I remember why we want to talk about this.
Brain vom.
Yeah, brain vomit. Yeah, you sent me a message the other day. Random words strung together with no punctuation. I was like, I'm just going to reply with a heart emoji.
Which you really did. And I was like, all right. That would seem really cool to me.
I was in the middle of doing something.
Rude.
I can't remember what it was. It could have been some shit like embroidery or something.
Yeah. But it was busier than my brain vom needed. But no, it does. In my head, things just sort of flash up. And so I put it in message form. But it is literally, and I did say at the beginning, brain vomit, because it was just words. And it was, my brain was sort of going, wouldn't it be cool to talk about like the dynamics between relationships, whether that is race or just how we get along with people, whether that's our husbands, our friends, our kids, like that dynamic. And it is, because I find it really interesting. And then I went on Facebook about 5 minutes later and someone had shared a post about relationships and I think it was like race relationships and things like that. But it was just really, I found it really interesting and thought that would be a good talking point.
Yeah.
And it is.
But do you know what? What I was thinking about whilst we were recording the last episode, and I was thinking, I mustn't forget to say this.
Right.
I've never been in a relationship with anybody who's not been Scottish. White Scottish.
Sorry, I actually went speechless. Did you hear? I went speechless. I just stopped talking. I was like, what? Really?
No, but my kids are English. So that is the first time in my life where I've had to contend with something that's not the norm for me. And even the other day, right, Freya was doing some craft and she'd drawn this present which opened up as you folded the paper, and it looked like an English flag on the front of it. And Trev and I were in the kitchen. We were actually cooking together. We've got quite a strong relationship at the moment. It's quite nice. I'm quite proud of it. We're winning.
I touched wood for her.
Started the start of the year well. We were cooking dinner together, and Freya came through and she said, "Oh, look at this, Mum. It's really cool. It opens like a present." And Trev's like, "What's that?"
Oh.
And instantly I knew what he meant, because I seen the English flag as well, but I knew what Freya was trying to interpret. And she says, it's a present. He's like, yeah, but what's it a present of? And Freya's like, it's a bow. Oh, okay, but what else does it look like? I was like, Trevor, just leave her alone.
Oh, God.
And so Trevor's very proud to be Scottish, and I'm very proud to be very Scottish as well. I love my heritage, and I love, even more so, like the longer I've lived away from it, the more Scottish I feel like. I almost feel like I want to buy myself a pair of tartan shoes or something just to go around with.
Jeez. Mother.
Put some tartan in my hat or something.
Oh, you can borrow mine. I've got tartan trousers. I'm not
yeah, you do. They're lovely.
They are good.
You wore them the other day.
Yeah.
I am aware that my children are going to be embracing some English holidays and things that we're not used to practicing. Even when the kids were little and there was no sort of Englishisms to our family at all, apart from their little accents. Yeah. We didn't, like, what's the English holiday called again?
St George's.
St George's, yeah, because it's St Andrews in Scotland, and we recognise that. We recognise Burns Day, and what is
Burns Day? I've heard of that.
It's the birthday of Robert Burns. It's in
was he a poet?
Mm-hmm. Very
something's
famous poet.
stuck in my brain there. I don't know where it's from. Pulled that out of nowhere. Okay.
But, we don't have any, we've got Scottish flags up around, well, Trev does, in his shed. He's only allowed them in the shed. He's not allowed them in the house. But we're, we mark our, I've got tartan wallpaper on the walls.
Even when, in the past, when we've had New Year's Eve together, though when we were allowed to socialise back in the day, that we always have to listen to BBC Scotland. Which
you say we have to listen. It's our night. It's
and that's exactly it. But until I met you, it would always be Big Ben. And I've not seen Big Ben when I'm with you because I'm not allowed. It's no, Big Ben has been shut away. That we're seeing Scottish people, and I'm like, all right. There's kilts and them blowy things,
bagpipes.
I'm so sorry, I'm a bit quite offensive.
God, I haven't even thought about that. I haven't even thought about it being... Because English people don't mark New Year's Eve.
We do.
Not really. It's not a party, is it?
Not in the way that I have seen, Hogmanay is a different thing. It is a different celebration, and it's slightly more extreme. It's sort of you've put New Year's Eve on fire kind of thing, which is cool. And I suppose it's really weird, I suppose, because when you think of when people talk about culture and dynamics and things like that, Scottish is a culture.
Yeah.
But you don't automatically think of those cultures. You think of the big ones that are always talked about and screamed about and everything else. But yeah, it must be, and especially now, like you said, that you're Scottish, Trev's Scottish, your kids are English.
Yeah. Fuck you, Trevor.
Don't sit
He'll come down here.
He'll be pissed off.
But no, Freya has said that when she's old enough, she's going to move to Scotland with her cousin Alice, and they're going to buy a palace and they're going to live together.
Aww.
Which is lovely.
That is
but
cute.
If you ask the kids where they want to go on holiday, it's always to Scotland and it's always to a caravan. We live the life of luxury, so we do.
If I said to my kids, right, we're going to Scotland and we're going in a caravan, they'd be like, and then when are we going on holiday? Properly. Where's the proper holiday with the pools and the sun and all right.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine blending my heritage with anybody, and that's but that's a form of racism in itself.
No, but it's not. But I think that's part of the thing, and it is. I think when you do blend heritages, and that is not being a black woman with a white man, that generally, we're both from London, so we have so much. My main, most of me is London. A massive part of me is London. I am a Londoner. I might live in Kent, but I'm a bloody Londoner. Sam's a Londoner. It's who we are. But then there are those deeper dynamics, and it's never been a massive issue, I'd say, with me and Sam. But there will be things, we will see things differently. It's just standard. He's a white man, so the most privileged of them all, and I'm a black woman, much lower down on the leg. That we will see things in a different way, and that's okay, as long as we can talk about it respectfully. But it will come up, and I think that was the thing on the video that was shared on Facebook, was sort of talking about that and how it does. I think she said something like, if I dated outside of my race, he'd have to be woke as fuck. He'd have to do it.
When I heard her say that, I was like, I've heard this phrase before, but I've never really understood what it means. And woke, does it mean awoken, aware of?
Aware of everything. Yeah. He'd have to know that there's going to be a struggle. That, when we talked about the woman and the husband, so the husband going out at night, and that if people cross the road.
Oh, yeah.
That for her, that would have taken her a bigger adjustment. I'm stereotyping here, and a bigger awareness to understand that could happen because of the different cultures. Whereas for him, that's this is my life. This is normal for me. I know that I will think differently with a lot of things than Sam will. That not just because of different genders, but because of different races. Yeah. And then our kids are mixed race. Yeah. So they're not either of us. They're from London, but they're Kent children. Yeah. I say that, I didn't mean to sound so sad, but they are London, really.
They're more rounded on the edges.
Yes, they are. But it makes a whole different dynamic that you don't, I've dated a lot of white blokes and it's not something that comes up or that I'm outwardly seeking or thinking, right, will you understand me as a black person? It's just like, will you understand me? That I'm me and everything else is part of me. But then I have also had I want to date you because you're black, or you're pretty for a black girl, or I've never dated a black girl before, and you're like, fuck off. Not go away. I'm not your experiment. That you either want to date me because I'm me and I happen to be black and that's cool, or you're just being a dick.
Yeah.
Not go away. And there is a lot of them out there. But I imagine you get that with so many different things. That never been with a Scot, never been with an Asian person before, never been with a man. Like, if you're a man, maybe, I don't know. Going off on a tangent again. But do you know what I mean? It is, people have, there was a word for it. I think it was Afua Hirsch. And it was kind of like fetishizing like race and culture. And it was, it's a massive thing. Like there's loads talked about on it. And it's,
you feed into the stereotypes and that with that, don't you? And I think that's where the curiosity lies, especially when it's sexual as well, because you think you get a level of closeness with somebody that you don't get in any other way. Yeah. And you think, are they a little bit different when they're naked? Yeah. Are they a little bit different when they're, their guard is down? Are they a little bit different when they're sleeping? Like, what is it about this that I don't? And it's that, I think it's, what's the word? It's what I don't know what the word is, and my words are completely gone tonight.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No. I can't help you at all. I'm just going to let you sputter through it. Come on, get it out. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what the word is that I'm trying to explain. It's like what you don't know, like what you kind of your temptations.
Right.
Like you want a little taste of it, but you're not sure if it's really, you're not ready to fully embrace it. Like I remember when I was in my single days and I was going out and having fun and meeting lots of different people, and I met a black guy, and in Inverness it is, honestly, it's quite rare at the time. I mean, I'm talking 15 years ago. Right, quite a long time, really. Yeah. And he didn't live in Inverness, but he knew the area, and he actually played football for one of the local teams. He was a footballer. But he was massive. Like, he fed into that black guy stereotype that everybody, like, if you've never been with a black guy, that's the black guy that you want. The big, tall, strong guy with a big,
tall, dark chocolate.
Yeah. But it wasn't, that wasn't a phrase that I knew of at the time. It was just a big, tall, dark guy. Yeah. Who just had the booming voice, the dark eyes, and he was lovely. And I remember running through to my sister saying, Louise, I pulled a black guy. Oh, God. And it's awful. It was, we didn't get together. Like, we had a really nice evening together. We had the whole group of us. I was out with some friends and he was out with his friends. And we had a lovely evening together. And he was a lovely guy. Yeah. And there was a great connection there. But there was that intrigue because I'd never spent time with a lot of black people. And that's totally honest. Like,
no, and I do think that is a thing. And I think that I always say, from being from London, it is such a different thing because it's a melting pot and there's everyone, and you see a lot more intermingling or interracial dating or whatever else because there's more selection. So you sort of, I can see that it is the unknown. It's sort of, and then, like you said, there are some very good stereotypes about black men as well. Yeah. So get the intrigue. But it's, but
I'm saying nothing.
I'm not digging a deeper hole for myself either. But it's, you see that intrigue. I think that intrigue, I wonder, is it that different to then purposely seeking someone out?
Yeah, no, that wasn't the case for me, but I was very much like, Louise. And we were sharing a flat at the time as well, and I woke her up just to tell her. Yeah, I was very excited, very drunk and very excited.
See, and that's,
poor girl.
Did he have a Scottish accent? Was he from Scotland?
Oh my God. Did he have I don't think he did. Do you know what? I wish I could remember. No. And I wish I could remember his name so I could Google him.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so to risk us going off on a total tangent and just talking about relationships on this, let's bring our friendships into this because the dynamics of friendships are quite fragile and can be quite fractious, and I'm very, very precious over my friendships. I don't like sharing my friends.
See, I've never picked up on that.
Because I only mix friends who I think are going to blend well.
Right, okay, so it's a thought process for you of who you're putting
together.
together.
Definitely, because I feel a real sense of obligation to make sure that everybody's having fun in my company.
Brought us some weird people.
No, I haven't. Trevor has. It's never me. I am very conscientious when it comes to who I mix with my friends.
Okay.
And if there's ever a woman here who wasn't here before, it's nothing to do with me. It's to do with Trevor.
No.
And
okay.
it's not his...
There's only one that I can think of, and she set an alarm to eat. And
she was a nut job.
Yeah, she nearly got floored by all of us.
Well, I severed ties with her in a very kind of abrupt and rude way.
I'm glad she couldn't be our friend. No one's being my friend.
No, well, I didn't invite her. It was Trevor. Got on quite well with her husband, and it's fucking our birthday. It's my party. But it's Trevor's fucking birthday. And so we have to celebrate together. So he gets...
Yeah, he's allowed to invite some friends as well.
Fucking people. But since then, there was another year. I think the year after that, he invited another one of his outside friends. And I said to him, oh no, and the year after that.
He has
last year.
Yeah.
Remember last year he invited some people who were not in our group, and it just ruins it for me because I like to be the hostess. I like to make sure that people in my company are enjoying themselves.
And
they've got their drinks refreshed. They've got food in their hands. They're having a nice time. They've got a fucking smile on their face, and they're having conversation.
Yeah.
So I feel there's a huge sense of urgency for me to make sure that that's happening. And if there's people who are brought into my circle who I'm not familiar with, or that I haven't spent drunken time with as well. That's another thing. If I'm relaxing, if I'm having fun, then I need just the people who know me, and I trust, and that I can get ridiculously drunk and say the stupidest things with them, and there's no judgment, no stupid photos, no...
Yes, you know where you're... But I think I'm the same, but... because I feel comfortable with different groups, in my head I'm like, well, we can all be together because I'm comfortable. Fuck the rest of you.
It's all about me.
It is. We do know this. It is a thing. It is all about me. It's really good that way. But I do, and I have been pulled up on it on a few occasions by mainly one person. You know who you are.
I agree with her, and I did agree with her at the time as well.
Yes, yeah. So one of my good friends, and I love her to pieces, but did have a go at me, that I always invite other people when I'm seeing her. And I hadn't, when she first said it, I truly was like, what the fuck? Like, really? Like, they're our friends. Why can't we all be together? I couldn't process it. And I think it's taken me a long while to go, oh, you
don't make her feel special.
No.
I like to be made I like to be made to feel special with the people I spend time with, if I'm going to them.
Yeah. And see, and I try, but it just, in my head, it's a party.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing someone, so I go, it's a party, everyone can come. And it's cool, because they're all my friends, and I love them all, and it's all good. And I don't properly, I suppose, think about how that might impact other people, although I would hate if it was just me and I didn't know anyone else. But I think, and that's the thing, I think because everyone knows someone. No, I wouldn't go. If I was going to be the only person there that knew one other person, I would never go. Because it's just too awkward, and I'd would
you say no from the beginning, or would you blow out later on?
No, I'd say no from the beginning.
Okay, you're honest.
Yeah, I am, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, so I'm not going to make any qualms about it. I'm not coming. Just not coming. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know, it's weird that, and I have had issues where I've brought friends together and it's not worked. But again, I don't know that I picked up on it because I just sort of floated around, happy as Larry, and there was little fractures.
See, I think if it doesn't bother you as the person who is the common factor, then that's totally fine. But for me, I couldn't enjoy myself. Like, I couldn't. The idea of getting married and having Trevor's friends and family, my friends and family, all together in one place, and like, I am the common factor. I'm the one that everybody's come to see, and I'm like, oh no! Honestly, the thought of it now, it blows my mind. It's just too much. Far too much.
So is that to do with the friendships, or is that to do with being the centre of attention as well?
I don't really like being the centre of attention.
Right, okay.
But look at me doing a podcast,
Yeah.
so listen to me, buy my books!
It's all about Claire now.
But I don't want anyone to stand and watch me having my first dance, stand and watch me kissing Trevor, stand and listen to me pour my guts out about how much I love him. That's not me. That is not me. I'd like to, I was listening to Brené Brown talking yesterday about her marriage and how when her and her husband organised their wedding, she said that they took in a lot of consideration into what was important to them as people.
Right, okay.
Not fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Like what was important, what represented them and their relationship, what they wanted from their lives.
Yeah.
And that was how they structured their wedding. I thought, is this happening for a reason? Everything happens for a reason. Am I hearing this because we're supposed to have this conversation?
As long as you invite me, I don't give a shit about anyone else.
But there's also the question of where we would have our wedding.
Yes.
Do we expect our English friends who are loyal to us, but are they loyal enough to come to Scotland?
It's a really long way away.
I know. And our family, do we really want to drag our Scottish, very proudly Scottish family down to England for an English wedding without the tartan carpets and the tartan drapes and the castles and the beautiful skylines?
See, I'm saying Scotland.
Yeah.
Because I ain't been, so I want to go.
And do you know what? The people that I want to come to the wedding and that would want to go, they would come anyway.
Yes, definitely.
It's a wedding, isn't it? I mean, we're not even talking about getting married.
You are. You have to do it for me. Please, I need another wedding. I need a hen do more than a wedding.
Well, but, that's the other thing, hen do.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because I've got friends who are very, very different, really try to be very kind of cautious. And I just couldn't. I couldn't have a hen do with everybody together because I have fun. I have fun in the same way.
Yes.
Like I get pissed the same way with everybody. Yeah. But I know that I would have more fun with small groups. Yeah. So I can really give myself to all of my friends.
Oh God. I think we need to deflate that slightly.
I can be like Rachel and just give you that heart to heart in my leavings conversation. Not the leaving thing, but you know when she does that episode.
What you mean. Yeah.
You know, it's incredibly important to me that the people that I spend my time with are going to enjoy each other's company when I'm not there holding hands.
I don't think I think about that.
Do you know what? I had a really... I say it's a really bad experience. I had a party here years ago and I think there was maybe 3 different groups.
Was I there?
Not massive. No, it was before I knew you.
Oh, so shit.
Yeah. Every party I have is a fucking bomb, by the way. But this was a long time ago. And it was, it wasn't all like groups, but there was like some were individuals and they all came together and it was lovely, but there was no pizzazz, like there was no vibe, right. There was no like, let's have fun, like talk shit and light fire and get pissed. Like, because that's what every party has to consist of, fire and getting pissed. Like it's not always about getting drunk. It's about relaxing with the people that you're around.
And getting drunk.
Getting drunk. And always having a fire. Yeah. With hay bales very close. Just because the danger makes it a little bit more fun.
It's exciting. No, see, I don't know if that most, in my head, and I am saying my head, most of my friends feel very similar. So I think when I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if we're all together because we all have, and I don't think I've ever had, besides my hen do, which was a bit fractured, but I still had a fucking great time.
Yeah.
And most people did, but I didn't realise that there was tensions there. But my friends are that great, they didn't let it bother me. So brilliant. That's cool. That generally, like Pride, I think that's partly where it started. That started with me and Laura, and then I started bringing everyone, and now it's massive. But again, it's because in my head I go, party! Everyone come. And it does, for the most part, it's great fun. And everyone gets on and has a laugh and it's all cool. But I've noticed there's been a few little occasions where you can see the differences, I suppose, in friendships and the different dynamics that most of my friends... I do, if I'm going out, I do want to get very, very drunk most of the time. I do get quite loud. It can make a bit of a tit of myself at times. Yeah. And most of my friends are the same. And then when you've got ones that maybe are a bit more reserved, sometimes that can be an issue. But I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So it's
I find it hard to have fun when I can clearly see that people around me are not on that same level.
I can't think of that many times. I think that's where my problem is, because it's not...
Yeah, I think if you haven't experienced it, I think for me it's just been bad experiences. Like, they haven't been disastrous nights, but if I'm giving my time to relax and to have a party and to celebrate something with people that I love, I want it to be memorable. I want it to be like, oh my God, you remember like that party that we had? And it, like our garden party is something we all look forward to now. I would like to say it's as a result of my careful curation of the people that come, but that's Trevor is... Maybe I should just get rid of Trevor.
No, I think
just not invite.
That's a very good idea.
Not invite Trevor to the party.
Go, Trevor.
Or he can
go and sit with Sam, and we'll all have a party. Sorry,
just the girls.
Yeah, just the girls. That's how I like it.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. No, so even like Sam's party, because that was bringing like the Croydon to Kent, and that I remember before. I'm thinking, oh, I know what my Croydon lot are like.
So is that the first time that you've done such a dynamic blend?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think
see, there
on that
you go.
bigger scale, and it did worry me. But then when it got to it, I gave no shits because I was drunk, so it was fun for me, and everyone did. Besides maybe a few people, I mean tiny few, everyone blended and it was fine. So
I think if like for a lot of it, the majority was your family, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And well, for me, I felt okay going because I'd met a lot of your family anyway, so I knew faces, so it didn't feel so foreign to leave our little safety group. Yeah, on the sofas to then go over and what's the dance we're dancing to? Candy. Oh, I love it. Totally need to perfect that. Yeah,
Candy is the best, and that is like every black party. You will play Candy at least 4 times. It's ridiculous, and the song goes on forever.
It does.
It's
so
long.
Shaking the shoulder, the back, the forth, the turn, and I was like, I'm fucking nailing this. I kept looking over my shoulder like, Stacey, what's the next move?
See? But it is, and it's fun, and it brings people together, and I think that's what groups do. But I tell you what, when I was planning my birthday, my 40th birthday, so we were going to do the garage brunch that then got blown out because of Boris, not because of Boris, don't like you anyway. But then that gave me, not anxiety, but I think because it had to be on the tables, that threw me. Yeah. Because that felt more like wedding planning a table, because we weren't meant to be moving. So then it's thinking, who am I putting on this table? And because it wasn't, I couldn't just go, right, U6, U6, U6. It would be like a 2 and a 3 and whatever else. That made my brain sort of go, oh, yeah, but it was fine because we didn't go. So, so it was cool. But I know it would have been fine. I had no doubts that the people that were going would all get on. In my head, I was like, I didn't have a concern, but I knew that other people had voiced that there was that slight anxiety of the different mixing, and it is for some people. I think I am so oblivious to things sometimes that it is a failing and a positive at points. Okay. I think that sometimes I don't take full things into, because things don't bother me. I forget sometimes that might bother someone else, and I have to really put my sort of work head on to sort of go, oh, okay, this might be a problem for someone. Whereas I'm just like, why? That's not a problem. It's cool. It's fine. And that is life. You have to think of other people. And I like, because of how I feel when I bring people together, I always make sure that despite how I might feel about the situation, I always extend myself out from the safety net of what I've arrived in, so that I branch it. So say, for example, like me, you, Trev and Sam go out to a party and we don't know anybody else. Yeah. But there's one common factor, whoever that might be. I will always make sure that I leave our little 4 and I go and speak. For the hostess or for the person whose night it is, it's awful when you look over and you see everybody segregated and just huddled together, and you're like, just mix. No, and it is, and you do want that. Like at my wedding, we only had about 80 people, and again, I knew everyone would mix, even though it was bringing the different crews together, and it was absolutely amazing. At no point that night, but again, I'm oblivious, so people might say differently, but at no point did I look and think someone's not having a good time, or they're isolated, or they're on their own. Everyone had a bloody good time, and I think that's how I think even with work, like when I'm working in a group with young people, I'm like, well, I want them to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And they generally are. And I think that my relaxedness pays off on them because I'm so chill.
So do you think it's different in your professional perspective then, and what you bring to that table in a sense, like when you're at work?
Like we call it, I think it's a similar kind of thing in that I am chill.
Yeah.
That I'm not like sweating over stuff. So that puts other people at ease because they're like my job, like outside of part, is very serious job.
Yeah.
We deal with really shit stuff and we're all very similar characters. I think you have to be to kind of do the work that we do. We've all got quite dry sense of humours. It works that some of the conversations we have are not appropriate, but you need that lightness when you're dealing with self-harm and suicide.
Yeah.
You need a lightness. But I think that helps that we're chill and that so it just makes everyone else feel at ease. And then when we go into young people, because we're chill, that helps them to open up and it has that knock-on effect. And I think you need that. That you couldn't go in all tense and worrying like yourself because that person's going to pick up on that, and then I think that roll of balls. So yeah, basically I think I'm fab.
I was waiting for something really profound. I was like totally like leaning in there. I was like
it is it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games.
It's a hard balance, isn't it? It's being aware. It's being aware of yourself. I think when you've got that personal confidence in yourself and you're aware of who you are, what makes you tick, and what emotional empathy you've got towards another person, how you can make them feel more warm and welcome. Yeah. In terms of like your work, like when you invite new children or teenagers onto a Zoom call, it's really impersonal. Yeah. But you still have that ability to be able to get them to open up and talk about their difficulties. Yeah. And I found that at my work, in the nursing home, when I'm working with an agency member of staff, for example, I don't know who's going to walk through the door when I start work at 7:00. Like, I don't know who, and I'm working with them in a really, really close proximity for 12 hours. It's a long time.
It's a really long time.
And some people can be really gruff when they walk through the door and you're like, what's your fucking deal? Yeah. We're working together for 12 hours tonight. So I bend over, I don't go against who I am. I'm not somebody different, but I bend over backwards to make sure they feel comfortable. Yeah. And show them around and tell them where things are, because I see so many other people who just open the door like, all right, and just the staff room's down there. You're like, ask them their name, tell them who you are, where's the toilet?
And imagine how uncomfortable that is going into that situation as well. That's like, as someone being the outsider going in and then no one's making you feel welcome, that's just going to set you on edge going forward.
I think I maybe learnt that from when I went away travelling and I worked in new places quite frequently, not in the sense of working for an agency and working in different places all the time, but meeting a new team, being the new person really frequently. Like, you get to know what works and what doesn't, and what makes you feel welcome and what doesn't. And I think that's possibly where I've learned a lot of that emotional empathy from, is from the people who got it really right and made me feel really welcome from the offset. Yeah. And the people who were ever off or gruff, like, I get on with most people. Like, even if I start working with somebody and I don't like them, I will find something in their personality that I do like. I have to, because I've got to work with this person. Yep. And I found that the people that, there was one person in particular, she was so off, but she was off with everybody. It wasn't just me. She had a couple of her close-knit cronies, and she was a fucking bitch, man. She really was. She was awful. But on my leaving night, she was so lovely. And actually, looking back on that, I'm thinking, I was leaving, of course she was lovely. God, maybe it was me. But on my card, she was really sweet. And we're actually friends on Facebook as well. And she messages and she comments on my things from time to time. And it's really bizarre, because she is the person that she was from the night that I left. I remember the conversation. I think it's just in her person. She was never mean. Right. She was just never warm. Like, I'm a very warm person. Yeah. Like, I'll make you feel welcome. Yeah. I will go out of my way to make sure that you feel comfortable. But this girl just didn't have that hospitable aspect to her personality at all. And I found it really off-putting. But I warmed towards it despite the coldness. Yes. And I got over it. And her message in my leaving card was really sweet. It was really lovely. And that I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
From that one experience with that one person. Like, to just never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
There's always something more going on underneath.
But then that's
you just never know someone's story.
long term, again, another failing. God, is this good? We're going to call this a failing show.
It's not a failing. It's a recognition. When you're aware of it, when you notice these things about your personality, whether it's, seeing negative things in yourself is never a proactive approach to how you want to develop, but recognising that there's a lot of positives, a hell of a lot of positives. But recognising it and thinking, well, that's what I want to work on. That's something that I'm going to improve on. And
not all of it I want to work on either, though. But
that's fine.
And it is. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. It's who you are. But it's not, you're not, you say you're a bitch, but you're not a bitch. You're a very warm bitch. You're a friendly bitch.
I like that.
You're like a Casper, the friendly ghost.
I am. That is me. That is my new tag. I'm going to change my Facebook name to that now. It works for me. It does. But yeah, it's difficult and it's hard. And I think it is. It's an ongoing process. Dynamics are...
We're never the finished article, are we? We're always evolving, always changing, always
and not
growing.
Everyone's meant to gel with your dynamic either, or that process. Like you said, what is it, like friend for a reason or friend for a season or something like that? That some people come in and out your life and they're meant to be there for that, and then they're not meant to be there for other things. And that it's knowing that and knowing that that's cool.
And wanting to learn from it as well. Seeing something, or even if it's just, you think, she's a bitch. I never want to be like that.
Yes.
And making a resolute decision to yourself that I am not going to be that kind of person.
No.
And that's cool. You can be like that.
Definitely.
And you know what? I'm so proud of us. We are under 40 minutes tonight. We're winding this up, by the guys.
We haven't done that for ages.
I don't think we've... No, not ages. Ever.
Have we never been under 40 minutes?
No, but if we carry on talking shit, we'll go over 40 minutes.
We're not.
39.
Right. Thanks for listening. We love you.
But send us your comments. Send us your questions. We love to hear from you. And have
get
a great
in touch.
week.
It's always good. Yeah.
We love you.
We do. We'll see you later.
FYI, nearly 700 downloads.
Whoop, whoop. We are amazing.